Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna have some fighting words. So in this video, we're gonna talk about Floyd Mayweather and his 2021 lineup, which includes both the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake Paul, and his arch rival, nemesis, best friend / all the above, 50 Cent. So let's just start off with the Paul brothers, because I feel like I'm gonna get a little lengthy when it gets to 50. So recently, the fight with Floyd and Logan Paul was put on hold or postponed. And I guess there wasn't a whole lot of interest in it. And I can tell you why there's not a whole lot of interest in it. I think everybody knows why. We just know that Floyd will win. But keep in mind, Floyd has done this to us 2 times in a row. This is the 3rd time he's done this. The first time was Conor McGregor, and it was plausible when Floyd and Conor fought. Conor pretty much had the best year of his career. He just won 2 belts, and he was just soaring high. He had the best performance in the octagon he ever had. Comes over, he fights Floyd in the ring, loses. But like I said, it was reasonable because Conor is a real fighter. Conor had the best year that he's had thus far. Conor was the first double champ. So for Conor to say that he would take on Floyd, it's like, weirder things have happened. In his defense, he's younger, he's bigger, and he was active. Floyd was not active. He was just traveling the world. He's older, and he's smaller. So again, when you put all those things in that pot, and then you add, he also just won his 2nd belt in a row, and he had the best performance of his fighting career. Yeah, okay, it wouldn't be crazy to assume that he could either give Floyd a run for his money, or he could actually, even in a crazy world, beat Floyd. Does that, what a shocker, Floyd wins, right? Yeah, we all knew. So then, Floyd goes to Japan. He fights a kid who's much younger, again, and a whole lot smaller. And for some reason, at least the people in Japan believed it was going to be a chance. Floyd smokes him in pretty much 1 round, and then like 10 seconds of the 2nd round, he finishes him. That was nothing. Floyd literally laughed the entire fight. He had a smile on his face the entire fight, even when he got hit, the 2 times he got hit. So that was the 2nd time. 3rd time around, I don't think it's going to be the charm. He's done this to us twice. We bought into it twice. There's not a whole lot of interest in this fight because Logan Paul is on his 3rd fight, fighting Floyd Mayweather, who's 50, Who do you think's going to win? Once again, he's fighting somebody who's younger, who's bigger, but doesn't have half the experience level as he has. So we're starting to see a trend at this point. So I get why the fight's happening. Basically, it's entertainment. You have a YouTuber, Logan Paul. He's wild, he makes funny videos, and he actually is progressing. I mean, he's not a fighter. I don't want to make it seem like I put him in the box with boxers. But I will say he's training hard. I will say he looks better and better every time I see him, and you can tell his progression by the way he's throwing his punches, the straightness of his punches, and how relaxed he is in the ring. But that being said, that's not going to be enough, and he certainly doesn't have enough under his belt or experience for him to go up against Floyd Mayweather. He is much bigger than Floyd, so I could definitely see him lasting a few rounds, but no way in this green earth is he going to beat Floyd Mayweather. All right, so that's Logan out of the way. Jake, his little brother. Jake, in my personal opinion, is a lot better than Logan. Jake is progressing a lot faster than Logan. Jake, I believe, has more confidence within himself than Logan. So Jake is a little bit of a different animal. I think Jake is, how would I say? He's getting relaxed in the boxing arena, in the sport, in hanging around fighters, hanging in the gym. He's even taking on the persona of a guy who wants it. So he's just different all around than Logan. I'm not necessarily saying Logan's doing this just for money, because I mean he's got money. But when you compare the two, Jake seems a lot more serious, and he also seems to have a lot more tunnel vision in terms of his vision of what he wants to achieve in this sport. Jake will be fighting Ben Askren. I've done a video on that. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. I break that down. But if he gets past Ben Askren, which I honestly believe he will, and I don't think it'll be that much of a climb up a hill, to be quite honest with you, then Floyd says he would fight him next, which I think it would be like maybe that much harder for Floyd to beat Jake. Jake would probably be even easier, only because he's more aggressive than his brother Logan, and he would just rush right into a lot of stuff. But Paul brothers out of the way. Clearly that's just a money grab. Now we go into 50 Cent. So these two were once besties. They were like best of friends. They did everything together. You know, we're hanging out with each other, going shopping with each other, just doing all this stuff together. Then they broke out. I'm not going to get into their backwater stuff. I don't really care about that. 50 Cent does have a background in boxing. He is no stranger to a boxing gym. He did box as a kid. And then when him and Floyd were, friends, he would be in the camp with Floyd. So he's no stranger to hitting a bag. Now, I don't know how much sparring he's done. I don't know any of that. I have seen him on a speed bag, and I've seen him on a heavy bag, and he seems pretty comfortable on there. But being in a ring is totally different, especially when you're in a ring under those shining lights and you have a crowd around you, and there's money on the line, and there's commentators and all that stuff going on. It's a lot different. Okay, so like I said, 50 does have a boxing background. All right, that's a check in his box. 50 is older than Floyd. Probably, I think like 2-3 years, but still, he's older. That's a check for Floyd. 50 is a big dude. He's like 6'1". He's like maybe 220. 230 on a healthy week. And then you have Floyd, who's like 5'7", 150 when he's being lazy. The weight discrepancy is just too much. I don't think anybody would sanction that. Even with these little farce fights, I don't think anybody would sanction that. That's just too much. I wouldn't stick a Mack truck in front of a Ferrari, because that's literally what you're doing. Even though Floyd has more skill, I do believe Floyd could beat 50 Cent in a fight, especially a boxing match. Obviously, we don't think Floyd can knock 50 Cent out. Again, that's a Ferrari in front of a Mack truck, so I don't believe he can knock him out. It's just too much mass. But can he beat him? Absolutely. Can he outpoint him? Absolutely. Could he possibly make him quit? Absolutely. I think he can. I think he has way too many tricks. I think he's way too experienced. I think he's comfortable in combo. One thing Floyd doesn't get credit for is his ability to take a punch. Yes, we haven't seen him get hit a lot, but when he does, he passes that exam with flying colors. I don't think 50 Cent has what it takes to knock Floyd off his feet. It wouldn't be a crazy notion if you were to knock him off his feet. Again, the size difference. It wouldn't be crazy if they actually fought and 50 Cent knocked Floyd down. First time in his career. Now, all that fighting stuff put aside, what I really want to talk about in this video is I don't want these fights to happen. The Paul brothers are one thing. They have been boxing. It would be Jake's third or fourth. It would be Logan's third. I don't want Floyd to fight 50 Cent. I get it. It is a huge money grab. I mean, unlike the Paul brothers, there's actually something there. There's actually real tension there. And you could really make a true storyline and build that up. But I don't want this fight to happen. The reason why I don't want this fight to happen is because if this fight happens, it will literally be a free-for-all. It'll just be, let's have rappers fight fighters. Let's have basketball players fight football players. How about we have some hockey players fight some golf guys? And it's just going to be wacky and weird, and the sport's just going to get lower and lower and lower. And already, I hate to say it, I do like them. I do like the Paul brothers, but I feel like if we just let anybody in the sport, we're gonna spend more time looking at these guys than the actual fighters, the actual real fighters, real boxers, the guys who really do it, the guys who really train, the guys who've been doing this since they were 4 and 5 years old, and they sacrificed their entire life to get to where they are. But we're focused on 2 hockey players who don't like each other. Weird little beefs that come from nowhere. Maybe some 2 actors who were on a set together in a movie and they didn't get along. So you know what? Why don't we put some gloves on them and stick them in a 6-round boxing match and let them go at it? And then we end up, well, really, we're just gonna suck in all the juice before the fight and all the back talk and all the trash and da-da-da-da-da. And then we watch the fight and we're like, that's the most horrible fight I've ever seen in my life. They don't know how to throw punches. They were tired after the first round. What did you expect? You bought into it. Like I said, going back to the beginning of the video, it was different with Conor. He was an actual fighter. He's actually been doing this pretty much the majority of his life. The same as the Japanese kid. He had been doing it all his life. He's a very well-known kickboxer. But to get just anybody you want, and then we're all gonna tune in. We've been on this page before. This would be the 3rd time, well, if all 3 of these fights actually take place, it will be the 5th time. We did it with Conor, we did it with the Japanese kid, now we're gonna do it with the Paul brothers, and then we're gonna top it off with 50 Cent. Floyd's gonna walk away with about $1 billion. He's gonna be laughing because he knew in the bottom of his heart, there was no way on this green earth that any of these guys were gonna beat him. And we were dumb enough to tune in and watch this. I'm not gonna do it, I am not gonna subscribe. I won't do it, I won't do it. If he wanted to fight Conor again, actually I would probably watch that. But I can't watch Floyd Mayweather fight Logan Paul. Jake Paul, and I'm most certainly not gonna let my money, my hard-earned money, go to Floyd Mayweather taking on 50 Cent. Not gonna happen, and that's just pretty much my take on things. So that's the end of this video, and please like and subscribe.